pickling basics you need to know. When you step into the world of making pickles and relishes, you're entering a craft built on tradition, technique, and a real appreciation for quality ingredients. Whether you're fermenting cucumbers for weeks, simmering fruit in sweet sour syrup, or preparing a bright, crisp relish, every step matters. Understanding the different classes of pickle products, choosing the right ingredients, and using proper equipment sets the foundation for safe, flavorful, and beautifully textured results. Today, we're going to walk through the entire process in a clear, conversational way so you can make exceptional pickles and relishes right in your own kitchen. Making pickles and relish is really about understanding a few core ideas: the types of pickle products, the importance of ingredient quality, the right equipment, and careful processing and storage. When you know how each of these pieces fits together, the whole process feels less like a mystery and more like a craft you can trust. Pickle products are grouped into 4 main classes based on how they're made and what goes into them. Brined pickles, also called fermented pickles, are cured over time, about 3 weeks, until they develop their characteristic flavor and texture. Brined pickles, also called fermented pickles, go through a curing process of about 3 weeks. Dilled cucumbers and sauerkraut are classic examples of this group, and other vegetables like green tomatoes can be treated the same way. During curing, cucumbers change from bright green to an olive or yellow-green color, and the white interior becomes uniformly translucent. A good fermented cucumber has a flavor that's pleasantly developed but not overly sour, salty, or spicy. The skin should be tender and firm, not hard, rubbery, or shriveled, and the inside should be firm but not soft or mushy. Sauerkraut, which is brined cabbage, has its own quality markers. It should be crisp, creamy white, with a bright appearance, uniformly cut shreds about the thinness of a dime, and free of coarse leaf pieces or core. When it's right, it has a pleasant tart, tangy flavor and no off odors. Fresh pack or quick process pickles are made much faster. These include cross-cut cucumber slices, whole cucumber dills, sweet gherkins, and dilled green beans. They're brined for several hours or overnight, then drained and combined with boiling hot vinegar, spices, and seasonings. They're designed to be quick and easy to prepare, with a tart, pungent flavor that you can adjust to your taste by choosing different seasonings. Fresh pack whole cucumbers should be olive green, crisp, tender, and firm. Fruit pickles are another class, usually made from whole fruits simmered in a spicy, sweet-sour syrup. Pears, peaches, and watermelon rind are common choices. These fruit pickles should be bright in color, uniform in size, and tender and firm without being watery. Relishes are the 4th class, made from chopped fruits and vegetables that are seasoned and cooked to the desired consistency. A good relish has a clear, bright color and uniform piece size, which makes it visually appealing. Examples include piccalilli, pepper onion relish, tomato apple chutney, tomato pear chutney, horseradish, and corn relish. All of these products depend on quality ingredients and correct proportions. You only get satisfactory pickle products when you use good quality fruits and vegetables and follow proper procedures. The balance of fruit or vegetable, sugar, salt, vinegar, and spices is essential. Alum and lime are not necessary to make pickles crisp and firm if you start with good ingredients and use up-to-date methods. Tested recipes are important. Read the entire recipe before you begin, make sure you have all the ingredients, and measure or weigh everything carefully and accurately. Selecting fruits and vegetables is a deliberate step. Tender vegetables and firm fruits are best. Pears and peaches can be slightly underripe for pickling, which helps them hold their shape. Unwaxed cucumbers are necessary for whole pickles because brine cannot penetrate waxed cucumbers. Sorting for uniform size ensures even curing and processing, and you should choose sizes that match the recipe you're using. Freshness matters. Use fruits and vegetables as soon as possible after harvesting or purchasing. If you can't use them immediately, refrigerate them or spread them out in a cool, well-ventilated area. This is especially important for cucumbers, which deteriorate rapidly at room temperature. You should never use fruits or vegetables that show even slight evidence of mold. Proper processing can kill spoilage organisms, but it cannot remove the off flavors that mold growth can create in the tissue. Washing is another critical step. All fruits and vegetables should be washed thoroughly in cold water, whether they're going to be peeled or left unpeeled. Use a brush and wash only a few at a time under running water or through several changes of water. Soil can carry bacteria that are hard to destroy, so you lift the produce out of the water each time instead of letting washed-off soil drain back over them. Rinse pans between washings and handle everything gently to avoid bruising. For cucumbers, it's important to remove all blossoms because they may contain enzymes that cause softening during fermentation. Salt plays a key role in pickling. Pure granulated salt is ideal. Non-iodized table salt can be used, but anti-caking agents may make the brine cloudy. Iodized table salt should be avoided because it can darken pickles. Vinegar must be high-grade cider or white distilled vinegar with 4% to 6% acidity, 40 to 60 grain. Vinegar of unknown acidity should not be used. Cider vinegar has a mellow acid taste and blends flavors nicely, but it may darken white or light-colored fruits and vegetables. White distilled vinegar has a sharp, pungent acetic acid taste and is preferred when you want to preserve a light color, such as with pickled pears, onions, and cauliflower. You shouldn't dilute vinegar unless the recipe specifically tells you to. If you want a less sharp product, you add sugar rather than reduce the vinegar. Spices must be fresh for the best flavor. They deteriorate quickly in heat and humidity, so if you can't use them right away, store them in airtight containers in a cool place. Sugar can be white granulated or brown. White sugar produces a lighter colored product, while brown sugar gives a darker color that some people prefer. The equipment you use affects both safety and convenience. Utensils for heating pickling liquids should be non-chipped enamelware, stainless steel, aluminum, or glass. Copper, brass, galvanized, or iron utensils should not be used because they can react with acids or salts, causing undesirable color changes or forming unwanted compounds in the pickles. For fermenting or brining, you can use a crock or stone jar, a non-chipped enamel-lined pan, or a large glass jar, bowl, or casserole. You need a heavy plate or large glass lid that fits inside the container to keep vegetables submerged in the brine, with a weight on top, like a glass jar filled with water, to hold it down. Small utensils make the process smoother. Measuring spoons and cups, large wooden or stainless steel spoons, sharp knives, large trays, tongs, vegetable peelers, a ladle with a lip for pouring, a slotted spoon, a footed colander or wire basket, a large-mouthed funnel, a food chopper or grinder, and a wooden cutting board. Household scales are important when recipes specify ingredients by weight, and they're especially necessary for making sauerkraut to ensure the correct proportions of salt and shredded cabbage. When you're filling jars, you want them packed firmly and uniformly with the pickle product, but not so tightly that brine or syrup can't flow around and over the contents. Leaving the recommended headspace at the top of the jar is important for sealing and processing. After filling, you wipe the rim and threads of the jar with a clean, hot cloth to remove any food particles, seeds, or spices. Even a small particle can interfere with an airtight seal. With two-piece metal lids, you place the lid on the jar with the sealing compound against the glass. When the screw band is tightened properly, the lid has enough give to let air escape during processing. You don't tighten the band further after processing. If liquid has boiled out of a jar during processing, you don't open it to add more liquid, because that can allow spoilage organisms to enter. Heat processing is essential for pickle products. It destroys organisms that cause spoilage and kills enzymes that can affect flavor, color, and texture. The best way to achieve adequate heating is by processing filled jars in a boiling water bath. Heat processing is recommended for all pickle products because there is always a risk of spoilage organisms entering the food when it's transferred from kettle to jar, even when you're careful. This is why open kettle canning is not recommended. To process, you pack the pickle product into glass jars according to the recipe, adjust the lids, and immerse the jars in actively boiling water in a canner. The water should cover the jar tops by 1 to 2 inches. If needed, you add boiling water, but not directly onto the jars. You cover the canner with a close-fitting lid and bring the water back to boiling as quickly as possible. You start counting the processing time when the water returns to boiling and keep it boiling gently and steadily for the recommended time. Then you remove the jars immediately and set them upright, several inches apart, on a wire rack to cool. Fermented cucumbers and fresh packed dills have slightly different processing procedures. For these, you start counting the processing time as soon as you put the filled jars into actively boiling water. This helps prevent a cooked flavor and loss of crispness. Cooling is done with care. Jars are cooled topside up on a wire rack, spaced to allow air circulation, kept out of drafts, and left uncovered. They cool for 12 to 24 hours. After that, you remove the metal screw bands carefully and check for an airtight seal. If the center of the lid has a slight dip or stays down when pressed, the jar is sealed. Another test is to tap the center of the lid with a spoon. A clear, ringing sound usually indicates a good seal, while a dull sound doesn't always mean a poor seal, so you confirm by turning the jar partly over and checking for leakage. If there's no leakage, the jar can be stored. If a jar shows signs of leakage or a poor seal, you either use the product right away or recan it. To recan, you empty the jar, repack the product into another clean jar, and reprocess it as before. Metal screw bands from two-piece caps can be reused, but you remove them once jars are cool. If bands stick, you can loosen them by covering with a hot, damp cloth briefly. The metal lids themselves, however, are single-use and should not be reused. After checking seals and removing bands, you wipe jars with a clean, damp cloth and label them with the product name and date. Storage conditions matter for long-term quality and safety. Canned pickles should be stored in a dark, dry, cool place where they won't freeze. Freezing can crack jars or break seals, allowing bacteria to enter and cause spoilage. Protecting jars from light helps prevent bleaching and possible flavor deterioration. Before opening any jar, you stay alert for signs of spoilage. A bulging lid or leakage can indicate that the contents are spoiled and should not be eaten. Always be on the alert for signs of spoilage. Before opening a jar, examine it closely. Taken together, all of these details form a complete, step-by-step picture of safe, high-quality pickle and relish making. You're not just following recipes. You're managing ingredients, equipment, and processes in a way that protects flavor, texture, and safety from start to finish. By the time you've selected fresh produce, measured your ingredients carefully, packed your jars with intention, and processed them with the right heat and timing, you've done more than follow a recipe. You've practiced a time-honored method that protects flavor, texture, and safety from start to finish. When your jars cool, seal, and finally take their place on the shelf, you're not just storing food. You're preserving quality, tradition, and a little bit of pride in every batch. With these steps, you can confidently create pickle and relish products that stay crisp, vibrant, and delicious for months to come. Before you head out to start your next batch, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your fellow canners and pickle makers, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new lesson. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Tell me what you're making, what you learned, or what you'd love to see next.